All right, so I'm about to review the Dynasty Warriors movie. As an honest Dynasty Warriors fanatic and a fan who's played Dynasty Warriors since Dynasty Warriors 3, played the other games, but they were like really cool. I mean, and that's just my opinion, okay? All right, so let's start out with this. The opening scenes for the Yellow Turban battle was very funny, accurate. However, the only problem I had with the Yellow Turban battle in the beginning was the simple fact that Guan Yu took a scene from Dynasty Warriors 5 intro where Zhao Yun jumped on a man's shoulder with his feet and twirled around with his spear. Guan Yu actually did that in this movie, so they took it from a scene where the general, Guan Yu did that when it's supposed to be Zhao Yun from fucking Shu. That's one thing I will say. But besides that one thing, I do like how this movie definitely follows the game. They talk about all the generals or officers who were very important. They didn't really emphasize much on Wu, sadly. Wu didn't get much of a shine. However, one thing I do and one thing I will say about the movie is that you do see Sun Jian, you see Sun Se, and you see his brother Sun Qian. But at the same time, you don't see the daughter, Sun Shangzheng, who's supposed to marry Li Bei, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, I understand why they didn't put her in there. Women weren't supposed to be in war back in those times, which is okay. I get that, right? But you don't see them in battle at all, which kind of sucks because I'm a big Wu fanatic. And, but they do talk about Wu, so it's kind of cool. I do like that. And Wu was in the battle of Hulao Gate. Now, before we get to the battle of Hulao Gate and the battle of, other battles per se, let's talk about Liu Bei, Cao Cao, Yuan Shao, Dong Zhuo, Lu Bu, okay? I do like the fact that they actually are very historical about how Lu Bu was abducted by Dong Zhuo and how they refer to each other and how Lu Bu does care for Dong Zhuo, like as a father. And he even references him as a father, which is awesome because that's how he referenced him in the games. He didn't disrespect him, nothing like that. If you ever played Dynasty Warriors, you know that the only reason why Lu Bu betrayed Dong Zhuo was because Diao Chan made him, or, persuaded him that Dong Zhuo didn't give a fuck about him. And, that was just meant to happen. And you all know, and if you play Dynasty Warriors, you know that before Diao Chan came in the picture, that was never supposed to happen. Lu Bu really was loyal to Dong Zhuo prior to Diao Chan. And that happens in the movie. You're not supposed to see it. It doesn't really talk about it. You just, you see Lu Bu meet Diao Chan later on and all this shit like that. They don't really get too deep into that, but there's a scene where she's in a carriage and they talk about how she needs to persuade Lu Bu to pretty much, defect against Dong Zhuo. All right. I do like that. Okay. Now let's talk about the officers. Guan Yu, I'm not going to talk about how they made the characters or anything because it was really good. They did a really good job with Liu Bei and Cao Cao, okay? I love Cao Cao's upbringing, how they brought him up. I'm mad they did not implement Dian Wei until very later, but they didn't show how Dian Wei was Cao Cao's bodyguard. They only showed Guan Yu as, Guan Yu. They did show how Guan Yu and Cao Cao became friends. They showed how Liu Bei and Cao Cao became friends at one point. Because remember, if you ever play Dynasty Warriors, they are friends. They're great friends in the beginning. And, the Han Dynasty, and the reason why they stopped becoming friends is because Cao Cao wanted to conquer the land, show what a real leader was. And Liu Bei felt like that wasn't the way. He just wanted to be there for the, for the Han itself. He didn't see it as Cao Cao's way. Yan Shao, I like how at the ending of the movie, Cao Cao told the truth about how Sun Jian took the seal. If you play the games, that Tiger Zhang Dong went and took the Imperial seal, which he does. This happens. Sun Jian, my favorite people, I know, they took the Imperial seal and they did become a target. And that's how Sun Jian, got died with the arrow and all that shit like that. And how the Wu family was targeted. I do like that. That was true because they were targeted, right? Um, then I do like how the shoe was loyal to what shoe was supposed to be. Okay. I do like how everybody implemented that wasn't really a bad guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was really the bad guy besides Dong Zhuo. And I'm happy how they showed Dong Zhuo did those things that he did to become the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it showed him how he was an asshole. But he did care. It did show that he did care, and I do like that. He didn't, he was just a little bit too greedy, and it showed that he was just too greedy at some points. But they didn't overly do it, and I love that about the Dynasty Warriors movie. As a fanatic, they did really good. As I said, with the history, they did really, really good on how everybody met and everything like that. I personally just wish Wu had more shine. I don't want mad spoilers. I just want to talk, about certain things. And if you play Dynasty Warriors, you know what the fuck's going to happen. It's pretty much any Dynasty Warriors game. If you played through the whole entire story with anybody, I just wish they would have shined more on some of Wu, because Wu was really important. I'm happy. One thing I did not like about the movie, you had to know who was who. If you didn't know their image, you wouldn't know who was who and what they wore. So, I mean, they showed names and shit, but like later on in the battle of, when they were fighting this, General Hua Zhang, they talked about the generals, but they shows all of the fucking 19 generals, because they made, at the end of it, they made Li Bei a general, right? They showed them all, but like, you wouldn't know if you never played Dynasty Warriors. You wouldn't know that Zhu Huang was there. You wouldn't know that Dion Wei was there. You wouldn't know that fucking all these other troops were there. You wouldn't know who Sun Quan was. They named, as I say, they pronounce his Chinese name, but you wouldn't know who these specific generals or their people were. And that you wouldn't even know who the fuck Sun Ce was, because Sun Ce's name was never referenced in this movie. It's just, you had to know his image. You had to know how he's supposed to look like. You had to know that Sun Ce was the oldest son of Sun Jian, and Sun Jian had 2 sons and a daughter. You would have to know these things. So, I mean, it's cool that I know them, but it's cool that most people wouldn't know who they were. Liu Bei's character was really dope. Lu Bu character as well was really dope. All the generals' characters was really dope. I do like how the armor was very accurate to the games. The only person I had to have issue with their armor was probably Guan Yu, but even still, like, I mean, come on, Guan Yu's like the most reference loved person in this. I'm a Shu fan, like, Shu's cool, but I don't like how they literally the movie's mainly about Shu and, them trying to defeat Dong Zhuo and the Yellow Terminus and all that shit. But it's mainly Shu's vantage point, and somewhat of Cao Cao's vantage point. I do like how they went into Cao Cao's background, and that was beautiful. And I'm happy they did that. That was very beautiful. I like that background. They went into all his history and how Cao Cao came up. Same thing with Liu Bei. They did not do that with Sun Jian, though. Mind you, Sun Jian is actually very important. The reason why it's the Wu. Also, before I even talk about this, I do not like how the movie does not reference Wei, Wu, and Shu. They talk about their leaders as Liu, Cao, and Sun, which is okay for Sun because, Sun Tzu is supposed to be Sun Jian's, elder, if you know history and shit like that. So, Sun Tzu was the art of, the manual when he made all this art of tactical war books and shit like that, if you know history. And they talk about that somewhat too. But, Sun Jian's reference in this movie is some shit. They don't really talk about Sun Jian. But I do like how they showed his, all their weapons. You don't see Sun Ce's tonfas, and you don't see Zhu Huang's battle axe, but you do see the general sword. You do see Lu Bu's Sky Piercer. So if you're a fan of that, see Lu Bu's Sky Piercer. And it's like they're going off of Dynasty Warriors 8's, not 9, but Dynasty Warriors 8's, the character design. Actually, if you look at him, Lu Bu has his armor from Dynasty Warriors 8 and 7. If you kind of look at it, where he has the chest piece, the armor, the chest piece with the beast in it as well, like that. So I do love that. I love their designs for the most part. I like Cao Cao. Cao Cao is really cool. His personality is awesome. Even English and Chinese voice, all this shit is really great. Like, they did a good job here. If I had to rate the movie, honestly, and I'm doing this from a person who loves Dynasty Warriors. As a person who loves Dynasty Warriors, the movie is a strong 8 out of 10. Not gonna say it's not perfect. There's things they could have did, and I wish they would have ended further down the line when they